Let me ask you about this. Are you aware of any communications regarding content moderation with Twitter staff and the United States government in your time at the company?
I'm familiar of the conversations that happen through Department of Homeland Security, the traffic light protocol, where there are messages sent out to organizations about threats that maybe the FBI or other organizations had insight into.
So earlier this year, documents that we obtained from a different whistleblower at the Department of Homeland Security exposed that the Disinformation Board that the Department of Homeland Security set up, that first on the Disinformation Board's list of companies to meet with was Twitter. And they had an extensive memo, which by the way is public information now. We've released it. You can go and look at it. But they had a memo prepared with notes for this meeting with Twitter, talking about cooperation in content moderation and frankly in monitoring Americans' speech. And now we know that thousands of Twitter employees have access to that. This was all in these documents. I guess my question to you is, and I know you weren't in those meetings, but why do you suppose that the Disinformation Board had Twitter first on the list of entities to come to talk about coordinating, monitoring American speech?
I can't opine on that, but I can say that Twitter is a tremendously influential platform, and we do know that there are information operations being run on Twitter.
Do you think it's maybe because Twitter has proved so pliant to government pressure, to censorship and monitor people? I'm thinking of, first of all, the Hunter Biden story. We now know that Twitter killed the Hunter Biden reporting. We know Mark Zuckerberg has said that the FBI pushed Facebook to do so. Facebook throttled it down. Twitter killed it completely, locked up accounts that were trying to report on what we now know was a true story. Or how about in your own report, you claimed that the Twitter CEO proposed caving to the Russian government's demands to censor content on Twitter and spy on its users, and you noted that this occurred even as you were directing employees to prepare for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That sounds like an executive team that's pretty darn pliant to the demands of governments to weaponize effectively their platform to control information, to spy on its users. What's your view?
I wasn't there when the Hunter Biden issue happened, and I don't have any information on that. I wasn't briefed into it or involved in any of the investigations. The CEO was the CTO at the time when he proposed to me that, hey, what do you think about, why don't we just let Russia perform their own moderation? They're a democracy, so why shouldn't we let them do it? I didn't know what to think at the time. Then, sir, I was a little flabbergasted.
Well, I think I know what to think. Which is that Twitter has been all too eager to take private information from its users without telling them, to sell it and monetize it without their permission, to expose them to the worst kind of security threats, to censor them, to spy on them. I mean, you have painted a picture of a company that is not only out of control, but is truly in many ways a malign actor. And I thank you for being willing to be here and testify. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hawley. Thank you for appearing before the committee today. The hearing record will remain open for 1 week for submission of materials for the record. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.